Rev up your engines!
The Hummer's coming back. Well, not exactly the Hummer, but a vehicle called the Hummer. They're going to start making Hummers again, but it's not going to be a brand. It's just going to be one model of GMC trucks, and it's going to be a fully electric truck. Kind of makes sense. Hummer? Electric motors kind of hum, right? Well, they're going to be just one model on GMC's brands, and they're going to be fully electric trucks. Now, they stopped making the Hummers in 2010, and the combination of they were gas hogs, they didn't sell that many of them, and in 2010, when they did that, GM went bankrupt, if you people remember. So, the Hummers are going to be built at GM's Detroit plant. This time, they're taking over the whole thing. You know, originally the Hummers were made in a different factory, and then GM had some factories that made some of the Hummers and not some of the others. It was a real conflagration of a little here, a little there. Well, they're going to make them at their plant in Detroit because it's going to be fully electric, and they're working on fully electric plants where they're going to be building stuff there. So, a completely different idea. Instead of a giant gas hog, it's going to be a giant electrical hog. But they don't actually have them out yet, so nobody can say what they're going to look like, what they're going to run like. But yes, they are bringing the Hummer back, and it's going to be a green Hummer. It's going to be a fully electric vehicle. Maybe that one will actually make it out there. People want a big giant electric vehicle instead of a big giant gas hog. I just, for me, wonder if it's going to be as big. I suppose it's going to be smaller. But if it is just as big, hey, you're going to have a problem with how far is it going to be able to go being that big and being an electric vehicle. But they are bringing it back as one model. Not a whole range of vehicles, but as one model. Yamil asks, I got a Mitsubishi Mirage 2015. When the dealer changes the oil, they put 4 quarts of oil instead of the manual says 2.9. But the real number for full line, it'd be 3.2. Is it safe to have that full quart? No, it isn't. You want to have it so it's on the full line when the engine's cold and it's parked on a level surface. You don't want a quart extra oil. That is just insanity. It doesn't shock me that a Mitsubishi dealer does that. Here, at least in the United States, I've had customers buy Mitsubishis, and the quality of the workmanship that's done at the Mitsubishi dealership is pretty low. I mean, but that's just uncalled for. If they're putting 4 whole quarts in and it takes a quart less, well, 9/10 of a quart less. Hey, stay away from them. Don't go there anymore. Go someplace else. An extra quart of oil, it can blow your seals. Too much oil can actually damage the internal of the engine by having too much pressure and not enough space. It's stupidity. It amazes me that people can do something like that. But stay away from them. That's my advice. Hopefully you haven't been doing that for years and years and years, because over the course of time, yeah, it's going to damage stuff. There's a reason they have an oil level thing. You don't want too little and you don't want too much. Grantis says, Scotty, what's the best car for under $5,000 that is fast, fun, and reliable? Okay, cheap, fast, fun, and reliable. They don't go together in the same sentence. It depends on what you mean by fast and fun. Relative terms. Reliable, I understand. Now, Toyotas and Hondas are pretty reliable. They're not all that fast and all that fun when you're buying something for $5,000 or less. The sporty, reliable ones always go for more money. Now, if you want reliable, you get a Toyota Corolla, Honda Civic. You want a little faster, you can get the fancier Civics. But the fancier Civics, like the Type R Civics, cost an awful lot of money. You're not going to find one for $5,000 or less. If you don't mind a standard transmission, you can have a lot of fun, and they're zippy. They're not super fast. You can get a Mazda Miata. But I don't know if you want a convertible. There's plenty of them out there you could find for $5,000 if you're really into the fun and cute looking cars. Generally, you want all of those together, you're going to pay a lot more than $5,000. Mr. Perspicuous says, I'm thinking about buying a Lexus. I really like the V8 body styles, but you said the V6s are better. One, it can run forever. The V8 engines themselves are good engines, but the V8 engine Lexuses are the top of the line ones. And guess what? All the stupid technology is stuck on those. Just the other day, I had a customer call me up crying. She said, Jay, my brake system, warning lights came on and I had no brakes. So I had it towed to the repair shop that's a couple blocks from my house. And the guy's telling me that I need a brake master cylinder, but it's going to cost almost $2,000 to replace it. I looked it up on my all-data system. The guy wasn't lying to her. The problem is, they put this high-tech stuff on the V8 Lexuses. Take my wife's V6 Lexus. I can get a brake master cylinder to that for maybe $150, right? Not on this V8 Lexus. It was over $1,300 just for the brake master cylinder assembly, because you can't buy just the brake master cylinder. It's a whole assembly with the nitrogen booster. I mean, it's like rocket science. And you had to replace all of that stuff and reprogram all of that stuff to fix it, instead of just having a simple brake master cylinder that you unbolted, bolted on, bled the air out, and away you go. That's why I tell people not to buy the V8 Lexuses. Now, if you buy a brand new one and you drive it for 100,000 miles, generally you're not going to have any problems. This particular car had 180,000 miles on it. But as they age, when those expensive parts break, and you're like, oh my God, I got to spend $2,000 instead of $150, you're going to question why you bought the fancy V8 one. Eli Armas says, Scotty, I bought a used Honda Civic 2014 with 62,000 miles. Runs great, but every time I reverse and shift back, I hear a noise in the back, especially when I hit the brakes. Something back there is clunking. The first thing you want to check is check the two struts. Make sure the rubber bushings on them are still not rotten and together and they're not worn so that it clunks when they move, and especially the top strut mount. The other thing would be check the exhaust system. The exhaust system has rubber hangers on it. On those Hondas, they sit kind of low, and sometimes if the exhaust system gets bumped, they'll crack or they'll come off place. A lot of times I go back there and I see they have little metal rods, and then there's the rubber bushing that they go into that they'll pop off, and you just pop them back off again. And they'll make that noise because metal hits metal when you jerks it back and forth. So check it out back there and see if anything looks weird like that. Willie Joseph 2 says, Scotty, my RAV4 is showing a check engine light, vehicle speed control, and four-wheel at the same time. Realize, here's how software works on Toyotas. If your check engine light comes on because there's a problem somewhere in the system, most of the time that will trigger all the other lights, the VSC lights and all those other lights, because the software is made, if there's a problem going on with the check engine light on, it immediately turns off the vehicle speed control systems and other things for safety, because there might be weird interaction. Now that there's one problem somewhere, those systems may not work correctly, so the computer just turns them off, puts on the warning light telling you that you no longer have the speed control system, anti-lock brakes or whatever. So you want to start by getting the vehicle scanned and find out why the check engine light is on. Now, 90-something% of the time when I work on Toyotas and all those lights are on, go to the check engine light and let's say it's got something like bad oxygen sensor, and I replace the oxygen sensor, then all the lights go off. So fix the check engine light first. Dash C says, 01 Chevy 1500. It pops on startup, it fails, and white smoke comes from the engine bay, and when I try to start it back, it revs up and down, smokes. Popping is misfiring. The fuel system's not working right, or more commonly, the ignition system isn't firing right, so it fires and then doesn't fire, and then it fires, so then it backfires. Or, since you say white smoke, you got a blown head gasket. First thing I would check on that would be a blown head gasket. I got a video how to tell if your car is a blown head gasket. Watch it. You can get that head gasket kit from Amazon for like $30 on sale, where you put a little blue liquid in a test tube that it comes with and stick it on a radiator and try to start it, and if blue turns yellow, you know immediately you got a blown head gasket, and then you decide, it's an 01, do I want to rebuild the engine or do I want to just get rid of the vehicle? Start there. Dot 72 says, Scotty, I found and bought a 2010 elderly owned Suzuki Swift automatic with only 60,000 for $2,000. It lived in a garage. I get a good deal. Depends where you are. If you're in the United States, not such a hot deal. Pulled out of the country years ago. Getting parts for Suzuki Swifts in the United States is a royal pain in the rear end. So consequently, most mechanics, they won't work on them because they know, gee, I'm in the middle of working on this, I can't get parts. What a waste of time that was. Most people don't have much training on the Suzukis either. But if you live in another country where they still sell them and mechanics work on them, yeah, you got a great deal. But realize, if you can't get parts for a car, if mechanics don't work on them, you don't want to buy that car. Hey, if you think you can hack a Tesla, you might be able to win $1 million and a free Model 3. There's a thing called 0 Day Initiative, which is going on in Vancouver in March. People come there and they're able to hack into the Tesla. There's various ranges of prizes you can win. But the top tier one, if you can hack into it, you get $500,000. If you can hack into all the different systems, it would total to about $1 million, and they said they'll give you a free Model 3. Obviously, Tesla thinks people can't hack into it. Now, there's different layers too. They can have level 2, level 3. So if you just hack into the information system, you can get a certain amount of money. If you hack into the entertainment system, you get a certain amount of money. So maybe you should take a trip to Vancouver in March of this year and try your luck. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.